Today is desserts. We're going to show you how to make a wonderful ice cream without any dairy, plus an apple pie with no sugar, and a nice fluffy white pie crust without any oil. So stay tuned. Welcome, we're the Benton Sisters. My name is Trishonna, this is my sister Audrey, and Emberly. Last time we were together, we talked about nutrition. This is #1 importance for the 8 laws of health, for optimum physical health. Today, we're going to talk about exercise real quick, and how important exercise is for the body. We really enjoy exercise, don't we?
You bet.
Exercise helps to strengthen your cardiovascular muscle, improves circulation, and in fact, when you exercise, you have more energy. That sounds pretty silly, but it works. And we've discovered how exciting it is when you have more energy when you exercise. Also, walking is #1 in exercise. It helps to improve the circulation. And remember, life is in the blood, and perfect health requires perfect circulation. And when you breathe deep and take the oxygen into your lungs, it disperses throughout your body and helps to really detoxify your system when you exhale and get rid of those toxins that build up, and it's really important to get exercise. And so we want you to start walking and get into a walking program or any type of exercise. Along with nutrition, like you need different types of food in your meal to get all the nutrition you need, so you need different types of exercise, from strength building, muscle building, toning the body, to aerobics. Getting the circulation going, high levels of oxygen intake, and cardiovascular muscle is exercise. So plan some exercise today. Start with 30 minutes of walking and build up. And whatever you do, make it fun and enjoyable. Recreation should be recreation, rebuilding the body mentally, physically, and spiritually. We're going to demonstrate some ice cream today. Emberly, would you like to tell us about it?
Okay, this is our delicious vanilla ice cream recipe, no dairy and 0 cholesterol, and it's from our cookbook, and we'll share with you the ingredients at this time.
Okay, it's 2 cups of boiling water, 1 cup of cashews raw, 2 tablespoons of Ames kosher gel, 2 teaspoons of lemon juice, half a teaspoon of salt, 4 teaspoons of vanilla, 1 can of coconut milk, 1 cup of light honey, 1 package of Morinu tofu firm.
Okay, we'll just go ahead and add the hot water to the blender. And then we'll add our Ames.
Ames, isn't that to replace Knox gelatin?
Yes.
It's just like a some type of gelling ingredient, but it doesn't have the animal products that Knox gelatin has, right?
And it's wonderful, and it works excellent. We'll add our cashews. You want to make sure you wash your cashews. And we'll add our coconut milk. I'll let you open that up here. And this is our tofu. This tofu is wonderful. This is the kind that we use. It's the firm tofu. It's absolutely delicious. You can put it in desserts. You can put it in salad dressings or all sorts of things. Tofu is so much fun. And
what's different between that tofu and the other tofu you can get in the water packed?
This tofu is a silken tofu. It makes your dishes nice and creamy and smooth. And this you don't want to freeze like the other kind. The other kind has a really neat texture.
When you freeze it?
Yes, it makes it nice and chewy. And this is better for puddings. The other tofu is better for, like, if you want to replace what would you say, meat or
you need more
something that you want texture and chewy like. Okay, we'll add our honey to this. And you would want to use a mild, light flavored honey, and that's a lot nicer.
And this replaces the sugar
in
ice cream, okay.
And then also, you can either use any flavoring you want. You can use, if you want to turn this into a maple ice cream, you can use maple flavoring, or you can add vanilla to it for vanilla ice cream. Or even adding a little bit of mint flavoring to it is delicious. We're going to add the maple flavoring to this. Okay, now we're going to blend this. You want to blend it for a long time, for about a minute.
Okay, let's get our blender over here. All right, here we go. Now this is ready for your ice cream maker, or if you don't have one, you can put it in a thin baking dish and put it in your freezer to freeze, or you can put it in ice cream trays. Ice trays.
Ice cube trays.
Right.
Yeah.
A whole bunch of other things you could do with it.
And what happens after you put it in ice cube trays?
Then you can, you want to melt maybe a couple of them, and then you put them into your blender, and then you let them blend until they're nice and smooth and
Like a milkshake?
and creamy. You can get it thicker than a milkshake. You can get it thick like a
Soft ice cream?
soft, smooth, I guess, ice
Soft
cream.
serve?
Yeah, soft serve. Or you can put it in your ice cream maker, and it works wonderful.
Or send it through the Champion
Yes,
juicer?
and if you have, if you don't have, if you want to pour into a baking dish, like she said, just cut it into cubes and send it through your ice cream maker. And it's really, your Champion juicer, and it's really delicious.
Okay, so what are you going to do with it now?
I'm gonna go do that.
Go put it in...
An ice cream maker.
Yeah, let's freeze it up.
Okay.
Put it in the ice cube trays.
All right.
Okay, while she goes and takes care of that, we're going to show you how to make an apple pie recipe. And we'd like to share with you these ingredients now at this time. Okay, this is the apple pie filling. And we're going to have 6½ cups of diced apples. We also have 1 cup of frozen apple juice concentrate and 1/2 cup of honey, along with a tablespoon of cornstarch rounded, 1/2 teaspoon of cardamom, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and 3 to 4 tablespoons of flour. And you can use Wonder Flour for this, or some all-purpose flour. Audrey's going to show you how to do this recipe here.
Okay.
So you have your apples in the skillet now.
You can do this on the stove, or you can do it in a skillet. Works both ways really nicely. Just put your apples in here after they've been peeled.
What
and
type of
sliced.
apples do you use?
We recommend like Golden Delicious, a really sweet apple. We don't like Granny Smith because if you don't use sugar, they're really sour and tart.
And then you can't get them
And they don't taste good, right. And so with honey, we like to have a sweeter apple.
So Jonathan apple's what you want to use, right? Those are the best.
Those would work too. Okay, let's start here. Now, you want to get some honey out for us?
Okay.
1 cup of apple juice concentrate.
And that helps to add sweetener to it?
So it won't be so tart, or if you have tart apples,
And a little
Delicious.
honey.
Want the honey? What do
And
you
then-
use for seasonings?
And then some cardamom.
Now, why do you use cardamom? What about cinnamon?
Well, cinnamon is an irritant, and so we like cardamom because it works a good replacement for that.
And where do you get that at?
You can get that at the health food store.
Or can you find it at a regular grocery store sometimes?
I'm
No,
not sure.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Okay.
And then we add a little bit of salt here.
The cardamom smells good.
I know. And then some cornstarch to thicken. Okay.
You don't have to worry about it getting glumpy or anything right there like that?
No, it's
It's just a little bit. It
Stirs
won't
in.
do that. And then
Okay.
some flour. 4 tablespoons of flour.
okay.
You can just pour those in
Add
right
this
now.
here?
Yes. Real easy recipe.
Now,
Okay. You
would
want to
you
stir
ever
this
want to
in?
use whole
Sure.
wheat flour instead of white flour?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Because white flour is refined, I'm just wondering.
Oh, well, we like to use, you can use Wonder Flour. It's really nice.
And so,
Wonder Flour, people think, oh, where do you find that at? It must be hard to find. It's not hard to find at all. You just find it, it's in most grocery stores, and it's just, and I think it's where the flowers are.
what's unique about it is because it's dextrinized, right? And so it doesn't glump up. It thickens really smoothly without
Yeah.
having lumps in it.
You don't want to use whole wheat flour. You'll have whole wheat specks in here.
Besides, you're not worried about getting your nutrients from a thickening agent, are you?
Right.
Okay, while she's finishing thickening that up, we'll share with you our wonderful pie crust recipe. And the ingredients are 1 cup of cashews, 1/2 cup of water, plus another 2 to 4 tablespoons of water, 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt, 3/4 of a cup of barley flour, and 3/4 of a cup of oat flour. Emberly, how is this done?
Okay, we're going to be making our shortening here. We're going to just add our cashews that we've been washed to the blender. And we just need about a half of a cup of water.
Okay.
And then we're going to add our salt to this. So go ahead. And our salt. And then I'm just going to blend it just to make like a shortening. Okay. Then we have our flours in here. We like to use barley flour and oat flour. And oat flour is really nice. It helps it to bind. And barley flour is wonderful too also because, it has nice light looking color to it. Now at this time we're going to add our delicious net shortening to our flours. And then I'll just knead it together. Now you can also mix this in a mixing bowl too, or you can do it by hand, whatever you prefer.
Okay,
How's the apples doing, Audrey?
they're all done, and ooh, they smell good.
Okay.
They sure do look good. Okay, Emberly, while you're mixing up that pie crust, I want to share with our friends here some information on sugar. It says the list of physical and mental disorders relating to sugar are formidable. Free refined sugars have been shown to reduce the ability of the white blood cell to function properly, aggravates heart disease, reduces the lifespan, contributes to alcoholism, mental illness, high blood pressure, skin disease, and enlarged liver and kidneys. In short, the body is charged artificially, then drained of energy, B vitamins, calcium, and trace minerals. In addition, the entire immune system is knocked out for a period of time. And if you could eliminate sugar from everything you could think of, you would still be getting more sugar than you need if you're buying prepackaged foods, because sugar is in everything, even in some salts. And did you know that there's as much sugar in a serving of ketchup as there is in ice cream? So start reading labels, because sugar's in everything. And we don't want to have all that sugar because of the bad things that it causes our body to go through. How's your pie crust coming along, Emberly?
This pie crust is so wonderful.
Tell us about it.
We need this?
Yes, well, this pie crust, we're just going to roll it out right now, and we're going to use wax paper for you.
Paper?
No, saran wrap. We like using saran wrap. That way you can see it as we roll it out. And we'll just need a pie pan.
Okay, let me get that.
And it's so nice. It's really nice when you use warm water, because it makes it softer and easier to roll out. And as I'm rolling this out, Audrey's going to share with you the crumb topping that we put over this. We like to put a crumb topping over this apple pie because it's not as heavy. If you put like a pie crust over it, it tends to be more heavy since it has all its, how would I say, it's not refined. It has
all the nutrients in the grain.
Yes. And so one thing we did do, though, that was really beautiful is we weaved
a lattice work.
Yeah, lattice work over it, so that makes it not so heavy.
That's really
and
pretty.
So that's really gorgeous.
Or you could use crumb topping that I'm going to show you here.
Yes, go ahead and show it.
Okay, this is from our cookbook, and it's crumb topping, and let me read it off for you. It's 1 cup of quick oats, 1/4 of a cup of barley flour, 1½ tablespoons of Love Your Heart butter from our cookbook, 2 tablespoons of honey, 1/3 of a cup of unsweetened coconut or ground walnuts, 1 tablespoon of date sugar. Okay, now we'll put these in. This recipe is another really easy recipes. Just put them in the bowl.
So you're using butter from the cookbook.
Right.
That's nice. You can use it in the cooking too.
Yeah, is that neat? Okay, and coconut, and our flour. And you want to tell them why we use date sugar? Trishonna?
Well, date sugar is another one of those sweeteners like honey that you can use that's not refined like white sugar is. And so we like to stay away from white sugar and use other sweeteners to replace the sugar. So also for sweetening recipes that call for sugar, you could use a fruit juice concentrate, like we use apple juice concentrate to thicken up a glaze to go over the fruit, or you can use date sugar, which is just dried granules of date. And honey is also really good. Some people say that you don't want to use honey, it's just as bad as sugar, but actually it doesn't cause the problems in your body that refined sugar does, because refined sugar is so depleted from all the nutrients that it really takes more nutrients out of your body to process it. And so you don't want to use white sugar, and honey doesn't cause that effect in your body, so it's much better for you. Also, sugar goes into the bloodstream at a much more rapid pace than honey does, and so that's another problem with using sugar.
Look at this pie crust. Doesn't it look beautiful? You can also, if you don't want to use oat flour or barley flour, you can also use rice flour. Whole rice flour.
Brown rice flour?
Yes, brown rice.
So this is a wonderful way to have a whole grain pie crust, but still have it as light as possible without having used white flour. Because if you use whole wheat pie crust, which is nice and a lot of people like that,
Makes it look dark.
it's
though.
much darker. And so this is still another way you can have a whole grain pie crust without having it be dark if you'd rather have a light one. And that looks just like
Oh,
the
and it feels
conventional pie crust.
Nice and soft too.
It's much more easy to work with also because it doesn't have the gluten content that a whole wheat pie crust would.
Yeah, if I'm not happy with the way I do the edges or roll it out, you just roll it back up again into a ball and roll it out, and it's wonderful. You can just, it's not picky on you, and so it does really nicely.
So it's easy to work with.
Yeah, it's very easy.
Some people, after coming to our cooking school, they'll tell us, after using your pie crust from your cookbook, I'll never go back to regular conventional pie crust. It's just really hard to work with compared to this, and so they're excited for an alternative. I want to share something with you about the different types of fat. Leviticus 3:17 says, eat no fat. And then in the Psalms 104 verse 15 says, a little fat makes the countenance glow. Well, I don't think the Bible contradicts itself, so it must be talking about two types of fat, and sure enough, it is. We all know about the bad fat, the kind that is hard on our body, adds weight to us. This comes from the animal fat, the refined fats, the Crisco's, olive, coconut oils, and hydrogenated fats. This is hard on our system, and it wasn't really made for our bodies to handle. The other fat, the fat that's good for us, comes in the natural state, unrefined. It comes to us from olives, avocado, coconut, and other nuts. And so this is where we want to emphasize using the natural fats in your diet, because you do need fats in your diet, but where you get your fats is the most important. You may be wondering, but aren't those fats saturated, and isn't that supposed to be bad for me? Well, let's talk about saturated fats. These, like the nuts, which comes with a saturated fat, is unrefined like coconut oil. It comes in a natural state. And so it's not as bad like coconut oil would be for you. First of all, cholesterol is the thing that causes a problem in our diet, and it comes from all animal products. Actually, animal fat is mostly saturated fat. And so the saturated fat from the animal, along with the cholesterol, is the thing that causes the major problems with our health and where we see most of the American diseases today. We do need fat in our diet and a small amount of natural saturated fat, but where does the saturated fat come from is most important. When it comes to us from the animal products, that's where we have problems. So we want to make sure that we have the natural saturated fat from the nuts and in a natural state, not refined like coconut oil or any other oils. Did you know that it takes 14 ears of corn to make 1 tablespoon of corn oil? That's highly refined.
Wow.
But when you have it in the natural state, we only use, half a cup of cashews here, which is
Or was it a cup?
a small amount compared to if we put in half a cup of oil, which would be really refined, and it turned out just as good and much better for you. So we want to replace the oils in our diet with nuts and leave off the oils in the animal products, because this is where health problems come in, is by using the refined fats. In fact, we want to remember life is in the blood, and perfect health requires perfect circulation. And when fats come into your body like an oil, it really slows down your blood flow through your body and causes oxygen deficiency. And so in order to have good health, we have to have good circulation. So we want to have the natural, unrefined nuts. How is your pie crust coming along anyways, Emberly?
Oh, it's doing really good.
Man, you're able to make beautiful edges with that dough.
It's easy. That's all you do is you just take the dough and you roll it up on the edges and smooth it out, and it's just so different than regular pie crust recipe, and it's so much easier. And it looks really good, doesn't it?
Yes, sure does. How is your crumb topping, Audrey?
Oh, it's all done, nice and perfect.
The apples ready to go?
Apples are ready.
Okay, I'm almost done here.
Okay.
Gotta do the edges a little bit more.
Looks really good.
Okay. Okay, let's add the apples to this.
Okay, let's see if we can do this without spilling here.
Yum.
That sure does smell good.
Okay.
And all you had to put in there was an apple juice concentrate for a glaze with a little honey, right? No sugar.
No
Can
sugar.
you believe it? And it's still sweet and really good, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that exciting?
Okay, now.
And you can eat this for breakfast without feeling guilty?
Oh, yeah, we do it all the time.
So much fun.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna add the crumb topping.
Oh man, that is as pretty as a picture.
Okay, and then you just cover it with tin foil, and you bake in the oven for,
Over the whole thing?
yes, cover the whole thing. You
So
bake
it
it in the
doesn't
oven on 350 for a half an hour, and then about 10 minutes before your half an hour is up, you just take off the cover off the tin foil, and you golden the top, and it looks really beautiful. So we'll put it in the oven for you at this time.
And here's one that's already done.
That's what it looks like baked.
That
Okay,
does
let me
look
put this
good.
in the oven for us.
Okay. All right, Audrey, go check and see how the ice cream is coming along.
Okay.
I have something I want to share with you. Everyone knows what this is. This is what? French cream twist.
Ooh.
And have you ever seen these things? I mean, they're so creamy and tempting. And you know, when you go to the store and you walk down that certain aisle and they have all those rich desserts on the shelves, or you go by the pastry and have the cake and all that tempting stuff, and you're thinking, oh, I know that stuff's bad for me, but it looks so good I can hardly resist. What can I do? Well, you know, think of this. Let's say this is your artery, okay? So you have one nice, healthy artery going to your heart. And you have a rich diet of fat food and cholesterol. And you happen to need angioplasty done, or else your artery is going to clog up. So what they do is, well, I'll use my pencil for a demonstration. Too bad it doesn't have a balloon on the end, or else it would show you better. But they go in there and they kind of clean it out and try to get the stuff out of there, and it's really, really gross. And well, you can see there's a tiny little hole in there now, but that's going to fill up really quick. So the next time you think of having those things, think of heart disease and cancer and all that bad stuff. And remember, you can make our dessert, which is better for you, and you won't have to worry about having heart disease.
And later,
So-
later on, we're going to show you how to make a cream puff.
Wasn't that impressive? That was gross enough to not make me want to eat that stuff. Okay, in fact, our grandpa, he had cancer and he had congestive heart failure, and when we brought him home from emergency at the hospital, we put him on our diet and fed him our food, and after 4 weeks, he lost 19 pounds, and that's according to the hospital scale records. And he ate good too, no skimpy meals. Of course, we cut the nuts in our recipes in half for remedial purposes, which you might feel a need to do if you're a heart patient or fighting high cholesterol and you want to get something to really drastically cut down the fat in your diet. And it really helped him. He feels so much better and looks much better too. And he was able to celebrate his 70th birthday, the birthday he almost missed. And so we're really excited about this diet because it really works. And it's so neat to see it close to home.
Okay.
So Audrey, we're going to send this ice cream through a Champion juicer, right?
And we put it in ice cube trays. Have all our little ice cubes. And we'll just turn it on here. You want to put that underneath?
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, that looks so good. Oh, it's about to fall off the edge. You have a spoon, quick, grab it. That looks really good. Oh, it's just like looks just like soft serve. Emberly, serve us a piece of pie.
Okay. Oh, let's have some ice cream on our pie. Yum. Okay. I'll put this in here. Oh, that looks good.
I want to share with you our closing words, our food for thought for today. It says, not only is God the originator of all, but it is His life that we receive in everything that lives. It is His life that we receive in the sunlight, in the pure, sweet air, and in the food that builds our body. So take part of God's life that He has provided for us in the fruits, nuts, grains, and vegetables, and enjoy perfect, optimum physical health. Remember to get your exercise and eat nutritious food. And when you're tempted to eat something bad for you, remember you can create something good. Right here we have our wonderful ice cream and apple pie that you can enjoy guilt-free.